What if the man who conquered your heart could see the world you left behind? Jamie Fraser has crossed battlefields, survived torture, and defied death itself. But nothing could prepare him for the visions that haunt his sleep. Dreams of a world he cannot understand. A world of steel and glass. A world where Craigh lived without him. Tonight, he will see through her eyes. He will witness the life she sacrificed. And he will finally understand the true weight of her love. Asterisk, the night starts like any other at Fraser's Ridge. The fire crackles low in the hearth, casting dancing shadows across the wooden walls. Craigh sleeps peacefully beside Jamie, her breathing soft and steady. But Jamie cannot find rest. He tosses and turns, his mind pulling him somewhere he has never been. Somewhere impossible. His eyes close, and the world shifts. Suddenly, he is no longer in his bed. He is standing on a strange road, smooth as glass beneath his feet. No dirt, no stones. Just endless black stretching in both directions. And then he sees them. Metal beasts roaring past him, moving faster than any horse he has ever known. They have no animals pulling them. No visible means of motion. Just pure, terrifying speed. The sound is deafening. Jamie stumbles backward, his heart racing. What manner of demon is this? The carriages have glass windows, and inside he glimpses faces. People sitting calmly, as if this is normal. As if traveling at such impossible speeds is an everyday occurrence. One of the metal beasts honks, a sound so sharp and unnatural that Jamie jumps. He reaches for his dirk, but his hand finds nothing. He looks down and realizes he is dressed in strange clothes. Soft fabric he does not recognize. Shoes unlike any he has worn. Everything feels wrong, alien. Then he sees her, Craigh. She is walking down the street in clothing that makes his breath catch. Her legs are visible, bare, covered only by something that ends above her knees. Her hair is styled in a way he has never seen. Short, modern. She carries a bag over her shoulder and walks with purpose. Her head held high. She is beautiful. But she is not his Craigh. Not yet. This is Craigh before the stones. Before Scotland. Before him. Jamie tries to call out to her, but no sound comes from his throat. He reaches for her, but she walks right through him like he is made of mist. He is a ghost in her world. An impossibility. She stops at a corner. And Jamie watches in amazement as lights change color above the street. Red, yellow, green. The metal beasts bay these lights, stopping and starting in perfect rhythm. Magic. It must be magic. What else could explain such things? Craigh crosses the street and Jamie follows, desperate to stay close to her. She enters a building made entirely of glass and steel. Towers that reach toward the sky, higher than any castle Jamie has ever seen. Higher than he thought possible? The doors open by themselves as Craigh approaches. No servants. No handles she must turn. Just smooth automatic movement. Jamie hesitates, then follows her inside. The interior takes his breath away. Everything is bright. Too bright. Light comes from everywhere and nowhere, illuminating every corner without a single candle or torch. The floors shine like mirrors. People rush past in strange attire, speaking quickly, holding small rectangles to their ears and talking to invisible companions. Madness. This must be madness. Craigh steps into a small room with metal doors. Other people follow her inside. Jamie pushes in just before the doors close. The room begins to move upward, rising through the building like a cage pulled by unseen ropes. Jamie's stomach lurches. He grabs for the wall to steady himself, but his hand passes through it. He has no substance here. He is only a witness. The metal doors open, and Craigh steps out onto a different floor. Jamie follows her down a long corridor. The walls are white, sterile. The smell is sharp and chemical, unlike anything from his time. It reminds him of the apothecary, but stronger, more potent. Craigh pushes through another set of doors. And Jamie finds himself in a place that makes his blood run cold. Asterisk, the room Craigh enters is filled with suffering. But not the kind Jamie knows. In his time, the wounded lie on rough beds, screaming as surgeons work with whiskey and prayer. Here, everything is different. The people on the beds are silent, sleeping peacefully despite their injuries. Strange machines surround them, beeping in rhythms that sound almost like heartbeats. Thin tubes run from bottles hanging on metal poles into the arms of patients. Jamie watches in horror and fascination as clear liquid drips slowly into their veins. Is this how they feed the sick in her time? Through their very blood. Claire moves between the beds with confidence. She wears clothing the color of summer sky, loose and practical. Her hair is pulled back, and she wears no jewelry except a simple watch on her wrist. A watch. Jamie recognizes that much at least. But this one glows with numbers that change by themselves. No hands that sweep in circles. Just glowing symbols that shift and count the seconds. She approaches a man lying motionless on a bed. His chest rises and falls, but he does not wake. Claire looks at a screen beside him. The screen shows lines moving in waves, green against black. Mountains and valleys of light that dance and pulse. Jamie realizes with a start that he is seeing the man's heartbeat. Made visible. Turned into light and movement. How is such a thing possible? Claire touches the man's wrist, her fingers gentle as she counts something Jamie cannot see. Then she writes on a board with markings he does not understand. Numbers and symbols that mean nothing to him but clearly hold great importance to her. Another woman in similar clothing approaches. She and Claire speak quickly, using words Jamie has never heard. Medical terms from a future he cannot comprehend. They discuss the patient with an efficiency that amazes him. In his time, healing is often guesswork. Herbs and hope mixed with desperation. Here, Claire speaks with certainty. With knowledge backed by centuries of discovery he will never witness. A sharp sound pierces the air. One of the machines begins screaming. Red lights flash. Claire moves instantly, her training taking over. She calls out orders, and suddenly the room fills with people. They surround the patient, working together like a military unit. Someone brings a cart loaded with equipment. Claire grabs 2 flat paddles connected to the machine by thick cords. She places them on the man's chest and shouts a warning. The patient's body jerks violently, arching off the bed. Jamie gasps, thinking they are killing him. But then the machine changes its tone. The red lights turn green. The chaotic beeping becomes steady once more. The man's chest continues to rise and fall. Claire has brought him back from death itself. Jamie has seen her work miracles with herbs and whiskey and sheer determination in his time. But this is beyond anything he imagined possible. She commanded lightning to restart a heart. She pulled a soul back from whatever lies beyond with nothing but knowledge and strange tools. The other healers congratulate her, but Claire simply nods and returns to her work. For her, this is ordinary. This is simply what she does. Jamie feels pride swell in his chest. His Claire. His fierce, brilliant, impossible Claire. But then the scene shifts, and that pride turns to something darker. The hospital fades, replaced by a different room. Warmer, more personal. Claire sits at a desk covered in papers and books. She wears spectacles, something Jamie has seen before but never on her. She looks tired. Beautiful, but tired. The door opens, and a man enters. Jamie recognizes him instantly, though they have never met. Frank Randall, Claire's first husband. The man she was married to before the Stones took her. Before Jamie, Frank carries 2 cups, steam rising from them. He sets one beside Claire and kisses the top of her head with casual affection. The kind of affection born from years together. From a life shared. Claire smiles up at him, grateful but distracted. She returns to her work, and Frank settles into a chair nearby with a book of his own. They sit in comfortable silence. The kind of silence that comes from truly knowing another person. From building a life together day by ordinary day. Jamie stands frozen. Watching a scene that cuts deeper than any sword ever could. This is not just Claire's past. This is the future she erased when she walked back through the stones to find him. The room around Frank and Claire dissolves like morning mist, and suddenly Jamie is somewhere else entirely. Somewhere that makes his warrior's heart clench with a pain no battle wound could match. He is standing in a garden. Not the wild, untamed gardens of Scotland, but something ordered and precise. Flowers bloom in neat rows. The grass is cut so evenly it looks painted onto the earth. A white fence surrounds the yard, and beyond it, more houses stretch in perfect lines, each one similar to the next, like soldiers standing at attention. In the center of this garden, a child plays. A little girl with wild curly hair that catches the sunlight like copper wire. She cannot be more than 5 years old, wearing a dress covered in small flowers. She chases a yellow butterfly, laughing with pure joy. And Jamie knows. He knows with absolute certainty that crushes the air from his lungs. This is Brianna, his daughter, the daughter he has never met. The child Claire carried in her belly when she made the impossible choice to leave this world behind. The child she left to find him. Brianna trips and falls onto the soft grass. For a moment, her face crumples, ready to cry.
Before we wrap this up, we absolutely need to talk about some other hilarious moments from part 1 that deserve recognition, even if they didn't get their own full segment. These are the quick hits. The blink and you miss the moments. The little gems scattered throughout the episodes that had us pausing and rewinding just to catch every detail that first step. We have the moment when Gregory Bridgerton accidentally walks in on Anthony and Kate having a private moment in the study. Not anything scandalous, just them being affectionate and cute. But Gregory's reaction is priceless. His face goes completely red. He backs out of the room so fast he trips over his own feet. And then you hear him yelling down the hallway, warning everyone to stay away from the study without explaining why. For the rest of that episode, every time Anthony and Kate are in the same room as Gregory, the poor kid can't make eye contact. He just stares at the floor like it's the most interesting thing he's ever seen. Anthony finds this absolutely hilarious and starts purposely standing close to Kate just to watch Gregory squirm. Kate has to smack his arm to get him to stop torturing his little brother. Then there's Hyacinth's commentary during a particularly boring ball. She's standing with Francesca, watching all the adults dance and socialize, and she starts giving a running commentary like she's narrating a sporting event. She's making up backstories for guests, creating dramatic rivalries that don't exist, and generally treating the whole thing like entertainment. The best part is when she starts rating the dancers on a scale of 1 to 10, and she gives Lord somebody a 3 because his footwork looks like a baby giraffe learning to walk. Francesca is trying so hard not to laugh out loud that she has to pretend she's coughing. Several people turn to look at them, wondering what's wrong, which makes it even harder for Francesca to keep it together. There's also this fantastic moment with Eloise and Penelope where they're discussing Eloise's latest reading material, which is apparently some radical political text that would scandalize everyone if they knew she had it. They're trying to have a serious, intellectual conversation, but they keep getting interrupted by people around them saying the most vapid, superficial things about fashion and gossip. Every interruption makes Eloise's eye twitch a little more. Finally, after the 7th interruption about someone's new feather in their hair, Eloise just stands up and loudly announces she's going to the library because apparently that's the only place in this entire building where people value actual thoughts over hat accessories. The silence that follows is beautiful. Penelope has to literally drag Eloise out of the room before she says anything else. Colin's food obsession strikes again in multiple scenes, but there's one particular moment that stands out. During a very serious family meeting about some important social matter, Colin is completely distracted by the pastries on the side table. Anthony is trying to discuss strategy. Violet is worried about reputation. Kate is offering logical solutions. And Colin is just staring at those pastries like they're calling his name. He's not even being subtle about it. His eyes keep drifting over. He's barely responding when people talk to him. And finally, Violet just tells him to go eat the pastry before he makes himself ill with wanting. Colin practically leaps from his chair, grabs 3 pastries instead of 1, and then tries to participate in the conversation with his mouth full. Anthony gives up trying to have a serious discussion and just puts his head in his hands. The family meeting essentially ends because Colin cannot focus on anything except food. Lady Danbury has several savage one-liners throughout part 1. But there's one exchange that absolutely destroyed its victim. Some pompous lord is going on about his accomplishments, clearly trying to impress everyone at the party. He's talking about his estate, his horses, his connections, just name-dropping and bragging non-stop. Lady Danbury listens with this perfectly polite expression, and when he finally pauses for breath, she says with the sweetest smile that she's never heard someone say so much while communicating so little, and it's truly a remarkable talent that must have taken years to perfect. The man's face goes purple. He genuinely can't tell if she complimented or insulted him, which makes it even funnier. Everyone around them who heard it is hiding smiles behind fans and glasses. Lady Danbury just continues sipping her drink like she said nothing unusual at all. There's a great physical comedy moment when multiple characters are trying to eavesdrop on the same private conversation. They're all positioned around a doorway, pressing their ears against walls, leaning around corners, trying to be subtle and failing miserably. At one point, they accidentally make eye contact with each other and have this silent moment of mutual acknowledgement that they're all doing the same sneaky thing instead of being embarrassed. They just kind of shrug and go back to eavesdropping. It's like a comedy of errors, except everyone is equally guilty, so nobody can call anyone else out. The Queen has a moment where she's clearly bored during some presentation and starts making faces that only her attendants can see. She's rolling her eyes, mouthing commentary, generally being hilarious while maintaining perfect royal posture and a neutral face when anyone looks directly at her. Asterisk, what makes all these moments work so beautifully is that they're not just random jokes thrown into a period drama. Every single funny moment comes from character. We laugh at Benedict because we know he gets lost in his art. We laugh at the Featheringtons because their schemes always backfire in spectacular fashion. We laugh at Colin's food obsession because it's been established since season 1. The comedy feels earned and natural, not forced. Bridgerton has always understood that humor makes the romance hit harder. When we see these characters being silly, making mistakes, embarrassing themselves, it makes them more real and relatable. We connect with their romantic journeys more deeply because we've seen them at their most human and vulnerable. Anthony is more lovable when we see him trying not to laugh at his brother's disasters. Kate is more appealing when she's amused by the chaos around her. The Bridgerton family feels like a real family because they tease each other, protect each other, and laugh together. Season 4 Part 1 gave us comedy that ranges from sophisticated social satire to silly slapstick. And it all works because the show knows its characters inside and out. The writers understand what makes each person tick, what their flaws are, what situations would challenge them in funny ways. That's why these moments land so perfectly. We're not laughing at random people doing random things. We're laughing at specific characters we love doing things that are so perfectly them. The fact that Part 1 balanced all this comedy with serious romantic development, family drama, and social commentary shows why Bridgerton continues to be such a phenomenon. It refuses to be just one thing. It's a romance and a comedy and a drama and a social critique all at once. These funny moments give us relief from the tension, make us fall deeper in love with the characters, and remind us why we keep coming back season after season. Part 2 is going to have to work hard to top some of these comedic highlights. The purple paint disaster alone set a high bar for physical comedy. The Featherington scheme gone wrong showed us ensemble comedy at its finest. Lady Danbury's sharp wit reminded us why she's the queen of the cutting remark. And all those little moments with the younger Bridgertons Colin's food obsession, and random eavesdropping chaos filled in the gaps with consistent laughs. So, what was your favorite funny moment from part 1? Did Benedict's paint disaster make you laugh the hardest? Or was it the Featheringtons' ridiculous hunting lodge transformation? Maybe your team Lady Danbury and her savage one-liners? Drop a comment below and let me know which moment had you rewinding and watching again. Asterisk if you enjoyed this breakdown of the funniest moments. Make sure you hit that like button because part 2 is coming soon, and trust me, we've got even more hilarious content to cover. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it when it drops. We're going to dive into more character comedy, more social disasters, and definitely more Benedict causing chaos because let's be honest, that man cannot help himself. The beauty of Bridgerton is that every single episode gives us something to laugh about, something to swoon over, and something to think about. These characters feel real because they're allowed to be funny, messy, imperfect, and human. They make mistakes. They embarrass themselves. They recover and try again. That's what keeps us invested in their stories. Part 1 of Season 4 reminded us why we fell in love with this show in the first place. It's not just about the romance or the beautiful costumes or the string quartet covers of modern songs. It's about characters we care about living their lives in entertaining, surprising, and often hilarious ways. The comedy makes everything else better. It makes the drama more dramatic, the romance more romantic, and the whole experience more enjoyable.